Alrighty, now here is a video review for you guys that I was not sure I was ever going to do. I just didn't think... I had no intention of ever picking this plastic thing up. And it's got some flaws. I will say, overall, for the price you're going to pay for it, it's up to you to decide if it's worth it. I expect many of you will decide that it is not, and that's a perfectly legitimate opinion. I think with this figure, one picture changed my mind, and that when I got it all done and put together here at home, I'm glad I did it. I think it's worth every penny. I, however, am weird. I understand why you might not. But yeah, kind of on a whim, I said, you know what? I've got some money. This guy's in stock. I wouldn't mind building that thing. Why don't we do it? So I did. He showed up today. Here he is. The Japanese GAIA UNICRON, or Face Mountain, as I'm calling him here. Now, a lot of pictures show this looks like a spaceship. You could. A lot of people show it like this, like it's some sort of flying spaceship. I don't know why anybody thought that. Not like people, not like fans or anything. But I don't know why the photographers took pictures of it like this, because it's just not a spaceship. I guess it could be like a rock meteorite ship, but it clearly looks like it's intended to be Unicron's face coming out of the volcano, like the cartoon. That's the way I look at it. And as that, it's not a bad representation of that, all things considered. He's just kind of origamied up into a triangle with the giant Unicron face. Now, again, these are posable. You can put these up. You can fold these down and around. I kind of like having them coming out. They look kind of like ore veins or something along the sides of the mountain. It's not a perfect representation here, but it's kind of neat. I like the giant face. What can I say? I've seen people put this on Fort Max. I've seen people put it on the Armada Unicron mold. You can fold his head down and put this one on top. You could do that if you want. I don't have any of them here to do that with, nor do I really care for it, so I probably wouldn't do it anyway. But he comes packaged in robot mode. I turned him into mountain mode here just because it's going to be a little easier to go from here to robot into the armor modes straight through versus going back and forth between modes to get everything done. But yeah, anyway, here's his mountain mode, and again, it's really just folded up Unicron here. Nothing here is going to make you go ooh and squeal with glee, really. Aside from maybe unless you're really just big into giant heads. So here's his Micron plugged in up here. You don't have to plug that in. You could fold that down, make it look like a flat top volcano if you chose. Here's his little Micron. It's a little. I made the pun armadillo because it does turn into his arm, but it really looks more like a mole or a vole of some sort. It doesn't really look like an armadillo exactly. You could. I like to call it an armadillo just because of the horrible pun, but it really is more of a underground burrowing type creature. It does have some tank treads there, which is kind of neat. And again, this is his mode. You can flip this out, fold these in, and flip out this peg, and it can become a sword for, like, see, here's Optimus. You can hold it as a sword in his hand. It does also plug in and become actually a fairly show-accurate arm for Unicron here in mode. And you can even pretend that this is his fist. There is a peg there that can hold a weapon. The only other peg I have here is the bulkhead knuckle, but you can see it can hold that. So you could have him hold a weapon in that hand. We'll show that off a little bit in a minute. So to turn him from this mode into robot mode, you want to go ahead and pull these down. Unpeg one side of these. Or just go ahead and unpeg those together. Fold in, let's see, which way we're going to do this. Okay, that's right. Fold in this one. Yeah. And fold that together to form a big 3D rock formation thing. This is all rubbery plastic, these outer pieces, versus the harder plastic on the flat pieces. So take care of that, put that off to the side. And then you come back here, unpeg these little notches from the slots right there. Bring the legs, they kind of twist it up. You want to bring them down like this, and then bring this forward and snap it into place like that, and rotate that out like this. You have to unpeg this shiny bit to flip the foot down, and then peg that. See, there's two pegs here. It pegs right back into the armor here on the leg, just like that. And same thing over here. I kind of rotate it around and down. I just popped it off. But yeah, just rotate the leg around. Again, pop this off. Put the foot. Put this back in place. Snap the leg up. Fold the upper arms out of the body like this. The shoulder pads up. You take this whole piece. If you had this flipped out, you flip this in, flip this whole piece down, and you want to take this, and you want to actually make sure to push this down. There's a couple of ridges here on the waist piece. You want to make sure to push that in and all the way down until it clicks into place. That's what locks the whole upper torso in place. And then the wings up here, you just kind of, this head was flipped down like this. You want to flip it and push the helmet down onto the face. Then you just bring these up like this and rotate them around. I like to make them look like, kind of like the wings back here. But again, they're on a limited ball joint here. You get some decent movement, but it is blocked by the thing, and then they do swivel here. Ball joint up in here, and then swivel up in here to position the wings. So you can have those in various positions. Now you'll see he is without arms right now. Now originally, when he comes in package, he comes with these separated. I'll show you. These are unpegged from each other. You see there's a clip right here. Now there is a stress mark forming in there. It doesn't look like it's going through the plastic. It looks like it's just kind of forming there at the base of the, right there. So I'm not, well, I guess it is kind of going through there. So I don't know. That's going to probably break at some point if you keep doing it. So keep an eye on that. But they did come with both of these individually attached to either arm. As you saw, they attach together for the transformation to the rock mode, like that. And it does, and from the side, it looks kind of flat and flabby. I do like to hold the clips together when I push it together to maybe hope it doesn't stress it as much. But you flip it like that, he's got a more complete arm over here, and then you can plug this arm in over here. And again, it looks a little stumpy compared to this one, but it does kind of give him a hand, and it is accurate to the show. He did have at one point have an arm that looked like this that was a little smaller than this one with the claw coming out. So there's that. Also, if you don't care for this spike, you can kind of open these up and fold that up along there, and then close them back up to give him a shorter arm. You see the little vole head, but maybe that's like a gun or something. But you can have an arm without, like a fist without the spike. And again, if you then plug in a weapon. Again, we're using bulkhead here because that's the only one I brought with me. He can hold the weapon there in his hand. So there's that. I like the gold chrome. The gold chrome on his legs and chest is really pretty. It's kind of got a burnt orange look to it as you flip around. It's got some reddish highlights in it. It's really nice looking. Like overall, like I think deco-wise, they did a really good job here. The painted spikes up here on the thing, and like I said, just the overall paint. The stickers for him there's some inside for detail work for the armor mode, but these gray here on the waist is stickers, and on the toes. Now the toe stickers are kind of bunk, but all in all, not horrible and not overly stickered up. So yeah, it's got some ball jointed shoulders. Again, you got the hinge elbows and forearms, ball jointed hips. They also have a swivel here at the thigh, hinge knees. You do have some posability there with where this snaps, and then the foot's on a hinge, but it doesn't have a whole lot of movement in it. That's mostly there for transformation. And his head's on a ball joint. So, yeah, when you get a chance to buy the John Noble action figure from Transformers Prime, you do it. And there's his face. It's actually a pretty nicely sculpted, detailed face here on him. Show it off there. So yeah. Now his big gimmick here is he can form armor for Optimus and Megatron, and I'll show that off real quick. The standard armor mode is kind of bleh, but we'll go ahead and turn him back into his little weapon, and then you do have to split this again. I mean, unless you just choose not to use these pieces, but they are required. So again, let's kind of support the clip here. So hopefully that will ease some wear and tear on that. Because just because something's stressing doesn't mean it's going to eventually break, but knowing the Micron stuff, we'll see. Micron itself seems to be okay. So you pull that off, and then you actually want to come back here, lift up the middle of his face, and then separate this whole piece off. It just kind of snaps in here, as well as this. These pegs right here peg into the body. So you separate this piece right here. And this piece is going to become like a front guard. Like this is going to be like a cod piece here. And you bring this whole thing down, turn his head around. You actually kind of want to bring this forward and flip his head up like this. And these are going to come up like this, and then you'll bring these down, the horns down and around. Or like the horns, the wings or whatever. These kind of come up, and then these come down and around. And that's about as good as you're going to get this for right now. We'll worry about this later. Here's where the pegs come in that are going to peg it to the rest of the armor. Now, as for the body, the body's the same for Optimus and Megatron. It just attaches slightly differently. So let's see if I can remember how all this works. You want to flip these up, pull the upper body up like that, flip it up and around. These come down like this. I think you open that up. Wait, do you stay, or maybe just open that up. We'll figure it out. Once everything starts coming down here, I'll figure out how to peg everything in, and it'll be there, obviously. But bring that back and around. Then the legs come. You want to open up the armor, because this is going to go up on the shoulders. And you split the leg in half like this. And then like that. Yeah, here we go. And then this does stay up like this, because you're going to peg the leg into that. Okay, hold on, here we go. Bring this down, and you peg the leg in to the to that piece. And this is going to come up to form shoulder armor on this hinge piece back here. So again, up here, you want to bring the leg around like we did before, split it, or pull off unhook the shiny gold piece, split it, bring the foot down, open this up like this, bring the foot down, peg it into the shoulder peg here, like that. You can kind of see how it's going to sit like this, and it's good that it does support itself like this, because it would make them very back heavy. So it kind of sits on its feet like that. You bring these up. Now to attach it to Optimus, you want to come here, and you have to flip these pieces down and out to the side, because these pegs up here are going to come in and peg in to Optimus's the pegs up here on Optimus. So you take these and you flip this down and around like this, and again flip this peg down and around like this. And because of the armature up here, you just bring it down and peg it into Optimus. And then you've got a little bit of wiggle room just as you rearrange things around here to bring this one down and peg it onto this side of Optimus. And once you've got that, you got to kind of wiggle this around and move things around to get the armor to sit at the right level. But again, it's just a matter of bending these armatures until it evens itself out. So very fiddly, and then you can just bring these back pieces up behind. But like I said, it's a finicky, iffy mode. It's mostly just thankfully it does, like I said, support itself. So you've got so he can stand with it. Once you got this done, these pieces peg in up under here to kind of give it like more of a cape look. Yeah. Like that. And then this piece, again, forms the front armor. And basically you're going to take these two pegs and peg them into the shoulder armor here. So you peg one side in. And just like before, you've got the way the hinges work, you've got some wiggle room to peg everything together. And once you get it pegged in, you can rearrange the pieces to sit a little straighter than they originally do. But it does take some fiddling. You get those to sit a little farther apart. Bring the horns up. Again, just rotating and swiveling. And then, and there you pretty much have Prime with the Unicron armor on. And again, he can hold the weapon. The Micron is a weapon, so we'll back up a little bit. So there's Prime with the armor on. It's okay. It's nothing amazing. He's got a giant cape. Okay, great. The way you have to fold these down does kind of limit where the arms can go. I don't see any way of attaching these maybe to underside of this to give it a little bit more room. But so you lose a lot of posability for the sake of some shiny armor, and not even all that great shiny armor, but it is there. And for Megatron, it's pretty much the same thing. He's a little easier to get it in the right position, but it doesn't stay on nearly as well. Because with Prime, at least, you've got these pegs up here that peg in and support it. With Megatron, you want to fold his wings back like this, put him in the armor, and basically what you're doing is you want to flip these pegs up right here, and you're basically using these three prongs of his shoulder armor as a clip to clip onto this little post in the armor. So you bring it up here, and you want to clip those three posts up here on his shoulder around this thing. And it's not real. It's not great. I guess you could do it there too. But yeah, you're essentially clipping it on there. So if you do this with Darkness Megatron, you're already doing like scraping a whole bunch of chrome pieces against chrome pieces, which seems like all kinds of fun. But yeah, you just gotta. It's not the best, but the theory is the same. You just kind of hook it over that, and then you take the. And I'm gonna get it done just to show you, but I find it's easier if you go ahead and plug this in, and then arrange the clips over the shoulders, because I mean it's pretty useless at any rate for Megatron. But yeah, once you get that all pegged together, you can lift this up over the shoulder pad and kind of mush it on there and get it to work. I think design-wise, I think it looks a little better on Megatron and fits a little bit more thematically appropriate with Megatron, because it's the armor of Unicron, and he has the blood of Unicron coursing through him. It's just a shame he doesn't stay very well. It's not stable at all, that I've found. Neat for display, but like I said, kind of useless for anything else. Come on. And again, he can also hold the weapon. So, again, ideally it looks kind of cool, and it fits a little better with Megatron than Optimus, as I was just saying, but it's such a pain to get on there all the way. However, there is a third option, and I feel a far superior option. So let's go ahead and pop all this off of him. And we're going to assume that roughly the same configuration, but we're going to take this. We'll go ahead and take these off of here, because we're going to take it like this. We're going to unpeg the legs here. Let's see, how do we do this? Flatten out these. There we go, like this. Wait, no. I'll get it here in a minute. But you flip this up, put the body, snap the body back down into here, like this, bring these up, fold them up. Oh, that popped off. That's just a friction hinge there, so just pop that right back on. Bring these kind of forward like this. Yeah, like, oh, there we go, like that. Bring that down, bring these forward. So arrange it like this, and then you want to take Weaponizer Prime, who himself is a fairly mediocre figure. I mean, let's face it. He's not bad, but he could be better. And one of the biggest issues with him that I had was that he looked cool. I mean, he does have a big backpack, but kind of expected. Neat gimmick. I like the shoulder guns that come up, but then there were these giant fins here that just stick up out of nowhere. So now we're going to actually use those to our advantage. We're going to take Unicron. We're going to set him behind those fins up here like this. And we're going to bring up over the shoulders, we're going to bring this armor up on Optimus here. And we're just going to fit it right over, bring fold these back pieces down like this, use the hinges, and put this right here on Optimus. And once you've done that, and you can see already, it fits on there fairly stably. You can use these forward as some cannons, the empty arm sockets. Then you can take this piece right here, widen it out a little bit, and again, peg these pieces. You want to get this kind of going underneath there and peg this piece into here. It's going to go a little wider than before. And then peg this piece in over here, and that kind of holds all the armor together. You can fold down the piece here, and again, rearrange it to even out to your standards. And then you can take these pieces, and what I usually do with these pieces, instead of pegging them in back here, I peg them in up under this piece, and that kind of fills in and gives some detail there right behind his arms. Although again, you can plug those in several places. You can plug those into a shoulder armor, however you want to configure these extra pieces. I usually do it like this, and that's what it looks like from the side. So it's still kind of a mess, but it really holds the armor on very well, and it gives Prime. It's much cooler. It kind of hides these fins up top, and it looks like it's supposed to be there. But that's not all, because if you also get for yourself two of these little bulkhead knuckle microns, you can take them and put one on Prime over here. Just kind of position it, and then put one on Prime over here. And that makes really kind of a, you don't want to mess with him Prime. Give him, let's see if we can get fold these in a little bit better. A little closer to the arms, but yeah, but you basically get this giant, powerful, awesome Weaponizer Prime. It basically, like, you're adding, like, it looks good without the bulkheads. The bulkheads just add a little bit to it, but essentially it lets you take two, let's face it, pretty mediocre figures. I think Weaponizer Prime overall is a little bit more of a solid figure than Unicron, but we can say they're both mediocre figures, and it turns them into one giant, awesome, unstoppable juggernaut. I really, really like this, and this is the whole reason I went ahead and dropped the money on Unicron, because I think that just looks amazing, and that is getting displayed on my shelf just like that. Forget the Voyagers, that's awesome. So yeah, I think that TFsource still has some in stock. I know a lot of places are selling out of him. He is exclusive to Japan, and if you remember what happened with like Breakdown and some of the other ones, if you want him, get him. Don't wait too long if you're on the fence, because they will eventually be gone, and who knows. But yeah, if that doesn't sell you on it, if this right here does not sell you on getting Unicron, don't get him. But if you're kind of on the fence and that makes you go, holy crap, dude, worth every penny. So there it is, GAIA Unicron from Takara-Tomy.